evaluating the first speaker on their speech, which is putting the speech in order. I'll be ensuring that, or evaluating if the speech is easy to understand, easy to remember, how it's organized, how they transition from to topics or areas of the speech, and then how strong their opening and closing is. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, Isaac.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So a lot of people wonder, where did electric vehicles come from? Because ever since the rise of electric vehicles in 2008, they have grown in popularity and have not shown any signs of stopping, despite facing multiple challenges. And what a lot of people might know is that electric vehicles date back to even before gas-powered vehicles. The first production vehicle was made by Carl Benz on January 29th, 1886. And it was the production Benz Model 1. However, just 2 years later, the first electric car would come out, known as the Fairwagon electric vehicle. Now, even though it was a big advancement in technology for its time, being 140 years ago, it faced multiple issues. The fact that it was a battery-powered vehicle mean that it was very easy to catch fire. And because car designs were not as advanced 150 years ago as it was now, it was very easy to crash. And with it having a battery, a big one, in fact, the battery in that car weighs 75 pounds, it would catch fire normally when it crashes, and it could burn for up to 3 days on end. There were a lot of casualties. So, because of how much incidents that car had, electric vehicles were immediately banned in the US until 1970. And everyone ended up forgetting about electric vehicles until GM had an idea, or General Motors had an idea to make their own electric vehicle and make it viable, which they did. They debuted that vehicle at the Geneva Auto Show in 1990, known as the EM1. It fixed a lot of problems that the electro wagon could not provide, such as the burning, the safety features, and the power. That car that was made back in 1980 only had that car that was made back in 1880 only had 1 horsepower, whereas the EM1 had 200. So it was viable for highway use, and best part about it, it had no emissions, as it did not use fossil fuels or gas. However, it would also be put down because what they could not solve was the burning problem. In order to create that much power, you have to have a bigger battery. And what happens when a battery ignites? It explodes. That car, even though it sold a lot, caused a lot of casualties due to the exploding battery. And that is an issue that even today has still not been solved. Now, through the success of the EM1, in 2008, a company which you all might know, called Tesla would emerge. Tesla wanted to make only electric vehicles, and they wanted to be the best at it. So in 2008, they debuted the Tesla Roadster, which was a 2-door electric sports car. That car took the world by storm, not only for its sleek designs, but its advanced safety features. It was the first electric vehicle to have to be experimenting with autopilot, and it also had its automatic stopping features, which was the first of its kind. Most cars did not have that out until 2015 up. But there was still a problem with that car. It did not have much battery life or range. That car could only get about 170 miles on a full charge. Put in perspective, most cars nowadays will be able to get 300 plus. And most big trucks with 100 plus liter fuel tanks will be able to get 600 plus. So that car will run out of range very fast. So they went back to the drawing board and they decided to make the family sedan as their next project, which entered the Tesla Model S, which to date is the best-selling vehicle of all time and has been for the past 8 years. That car solved all the issues that the Roadster had. Not only did it have more than 2 seats, it could hold 5 passengers. It did not burn unlike the Roadster, and unlike all past electric vehicles, due to the advanced safety features that it had a firewall and had a carbon fiber chassis, so it was very light, which for electric vehicles was brand new because the batteries could weigh anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, which alone is more than most sedans today. It also was the most advanced car of its time, having its own computer system, AI, having multiple safety features such as automatic stopping, lane detection, which is very advanced for 2012. And because it was an electric vehicle, it did not harm the environment or release any harmful gases. Best part about it, which I know a lot of grown-ups can relate to, which is my next topic, gas prices. Now, from 2020 up, gas prices have been on the rise. Now, it'll probably cost around $100 to fill up a tank, depending on how big of a tank you have. For most V8 engines and big engines, it could cost $100 to $150. My mother owns a V6 van that costs $75 to fill up. For an electric vehicle, it costs no more than $25. Now, the downside to charging is that it takes longer. It'll take around 25 minutes maximum if you were to charge. If you had the Tesla and you were at a supercharger, it would only take 15 minutes, but you're only paying a fraction of the price. Now, Teslas are not perfect. Electric vehicles are not perfect, but they do have advanced safety features, as I've said multiple times, such as autopilot. Tesla was the first to invent autopilot and was the first to get it right, to where you can drive long distances without looking at the road and without having your hands on the steering wheel. Now, that is not recommended, but this just goes to show just how viable electric vehicles are. And I think that in the future, we would see a lot more on the road and it could make a big impact on our environment. Thank you.
Thank you for that enlightening speech on electric vehicles, Isaac. Next, I would like to call on our second evaluator, Raghav, to introduce our second speaker.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters. Today I will be evaluating Owen Feng, I believe, and his speech. I will be looking for the clarity, the interestingness of the speech, and how well he delivers the speech. Thank you.
I was not aware I would be giving a was I supposed to be giving a speech today?
No,
It's Mr.
a retreat. Raghav. You mean Mr. Eric Tree?
Oh, Mr. Eric? Oh, okay.
Cavaliers, fellow Toastmasters, most honored guests. Seizing the moment. That's what each bill have been countered. Becoming a member of a Gavel club. Over the past 2 years, I've heard some great speeches that I know that would make it to the district competition in Toastmasters today. in the evaluations I've heard. Y'all had in a Gavel club. I wish I would have had the chance to join a Gavel club when I was your age. The sky would have been a limit for me. God, God mentors that will guide y'all. And then the adult Toastmasters mentors that will be there with you throughout your career as a Toastmaster. Each of you have promising careers. That Toastmasters will further your career. One thing about Toastmasters, if you reach your personal goal, you will become a better Toastmaster. As I listen to some of you speak of your careers that are promising. And I challenge you, seize the moment. But fellow Mr. Toastmaster,
Thank you for that wonderful speech, Mr. Eric Treat. I would now like to call on our third evaluator, Miss Anna, to introduce our third speaker.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster. Our third speaker is Xavier Taylor. This is a competent communicator manual, project number 7. 7, great, congratulations, Xavier. Project number 7, research your topic. The objectives are collecting information about your topic from numerous sources. Carefully support your points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and the illustrations gathered through research. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Xavier's speech title, as shown on the screen, is Jordan versus LeBron. Xavier.
All right. So, first you say 5 to 7, or was it 10 to 12?
Oh,
Uh,
10 to 12?
I think
Okay.
you requested 12 minutes.
All right.
The sign up she said 10 to 12 because
Okay.
I think it might be one.
All right. 10 to 12 minutes. Timer team.
All right. So, this is a big debate. It's been for a long time, the Jordan versus LeBron debate. So, let's get straight into it. First, we have the rookie season stats. Now, if you were here, we can see, although they both won Rookie of the Year, Jordan overall stats as a rookie were better than LeBron. Now, a lot of people like to say Jordan had more help throughout his career than LeBron did, which clearly is not true. LeBron has had a lot more Hall of Fame teammates than what Jordan has. Legacy-wise, LeBron has hopped from team to team to team to team 4 times, although 2 of them were the same team, but he's hopped from team again and again and again. Versus Jordan, who has built the Bulls up from the ground up and made a winning team and left a legacy there. Now, here's where we get into the stats. When it comes to championships, Jordan has 6 championships as to LeBron's 4, if you want to count the bubble ring 4, but really 3. But MVPs, Jordan had 5 MVPs, LeBron only 4. Defensive Player of the Year, 1-0. All defensive team. Oh, well, let me keep in mind, this is all defensive first team. Jordan has made all defensive first team 9 times. LeBron has made all defensive second team 6 times. So LeBron didn't even make the first team, all defensive first team. Now, Rookie of the Year, they both have 1 and 1. However, scoring title, Jordan is winning in scoring title 10-1 to LeBron, and steal title 3-0, plus all 82 games played. That means every 9 seasons straight, Jordan played all 82 games plus the playoffs. 9 times versus LeBron's 1 time. Now, if we're looking at trophies, in terms of all trophies in the NBA that each player has collected, although LeBron has had around 21 seasons now, and Jordan was only played really 11, but if we're going to count all of his seasons, including the ones where he got injured or taken out the game, 15 seasons. So out of 21 seasons compared to the 15 seasons, LeBron still doesn't have as many trophies or accolades as Jordan has. Now let's get down to the advanced stats. So people like to say LeBron is a better defender. He's not. But first, let's see our player efficiency rating. Jordan is up in the player efficiency rating, win shares per 48 minutes, offensive plus or box plus minus score, defensive box plus minus score. However, LeBron has a better value over replacement player and true shooting percentage than Jordan does. Barely by 2%. Keep in mind, Jordan has taken a lot more shots than LeBron does. Now, back to that all 82 games played I mentioned in the last slide. MJ has not only more than LeBron, but he has more than Kobe, LeBron, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, and Dwayne Wade combined. That means he's played all 82 games more than all of these players combined together. And this is back in the 90s, 80s, where obviously health technology wasn't as good as it is today. So keeping your body in shape back then wasn't as good as it is right now. And all these great players still couldn't play all 82 games as much as Jordan did. Next, Jordan is the only player in history to have 200 steals and 100 blocks in consecutive seasons. Jordan is the only player to get 10 triple doubles in a row, and he would have had 11, but that one night he had 40 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds, just 3 rebounds shy of getting 11 triple doubles in a row. There's 12 games straight with 10 plus assists. Jordan also has the most points in a single playoffs run at 759, and the closest is LeBron with 748. Jordan has the most blocks by a shooting guard at a whole 828. Jordan's career PPG is higher than LeBron's. Jordan's prime PPG is higher than LeBron's. And Jordan's career high is higher than LeBron's. Now, if we want to take a trip back through LeBron's playoff runs, you can see back in 2011, he was outscored by a bench player who was only playing 11 minutes per game. He was outscored by Jason Terry. Jordan faced 983 opponents throughout his whole career and was outscored all of them except for one, and that was Allen Iverson. Jordan reached 27,000 points in 852 games, and that took LeBron 1,106 games. Jordan played with one All-Star his entire career. One All-Star, or not his entire career, on the later half of his career. And that was Scottie Pippen. LeBron has played with 6 All-Stars, plus all the Hall of Famers that I showed in the picture earlier. Now, Jordan has only 2,924 career turnovers, as opposed to LeBron's 5,000. Actually, I believe right now it's about 5,200. But by his 15th season, so if we count all of Jordan's seasons, including the ones where he was injured and didn't play the full seasons, so if we compare 15th season to 15th season, LeBron has almost a whole 1,000 more turnovers than Jordan did. Now, that one time, like I said earlier, where Jordan was outscored once by Allen Iverson, LeBron has been outscored 18 times. And Jordan's finals record, so overall finals wins and losses, is 24-11 versus LeBron 22-33. Now, a lot of LeBron fans' favorite arguments would be Jordan is the all-time scoring leader. He has 40,000 points, and Jordan's at 5th with 32,000. Well, Jordan averaged about 2,313 points per season. So within about 4 more seasons, gave Jordan 4 more seasons, he would have hit 40,000, and he would have did it in less time than LeBron. LeBron hit 40,000 about his 20th season or his 21st season. So if we count all of Jordan's seasons, including the ones he was injured, which will only be 15 seasons, plus 4 more seasons where he would have reached 40,000, he would have did it in 19 seasons. However, if you don't count the seasons where Jordan was injured, he would have done it in 15 seasons. Both, either way, still less time than LeBron. Now, Jordan played against plumbers and trash players, which just isn't true. Jordan not only had played in an era where offense was more strict, most of the handles and flashy moves that you see people doing today on offense will be called for travels and carries in the 90s. A lot of players that people say you could drop in the 90s would not be doing as good as you think they would. Jordan played against more true defenders, and also, like I said, with the offense being more strict in the 90s, the defense was less strict, so you can get away with a lot more in the 90s than you could in today's game. And another favorite argument LeBron fans have is Jordan has no length. I don't know where that came from, but it's simply not true. Now, here's a graph showing all-time points. This one's a little bit outdated, right? LeBron's more like 40-some thousand right now. However, one thing that all those people that have more points career in Jordan, one thing they all have in common, they have a lot more time in the league than Jordan did. And some of these players below him also had more time played than Jordan did. So for him to have the less out of the top 5, for him to have the least amount of time out of all the people in the top 20, or one of the least amount of time out of all the people playing, and he's still top 5 in all-time scoring. Now back to the no left hand. I don't know where that came from, but overall his whole career, this right here was taken from the middle of his career in 90-92 season, right? So this is from around the middle point of Jordan's career. However, as you can clearly see here, Jordan not only used his left, he seemed to have used it more than his right. Now, if you refer to the graph over here, isolation plays per game, you can see LeBron all the way around here at the bottom. Where's Jordan with just his left hand? Above all these great players in the league today. Now we have this self-proclaimed GOAT going 1 for 20 in a fourth quarter match. In addition to that, just a few days ago, he blew a 20-point lead against the Nuggets. Now, if we take the 98 finals, game 6, Pippen was out majority of the match because he was pretty much injured. So Jordan scored 45 of the 87 Bulls and scored the game winner to win his 6th chip. And here we got a couple videos. See, LeBron James here. And this is the supposed GOAT, by the way. Look at him. Pass it right there. Steal. Don't get back on defense. Just stand there. LeBron James. Intercepted. LeBron James. No defensive awareness. Pass. Intercepted. All right. Now, over to, Michael Jordan.
So the lie detector results are in, and Tom Brady does actually win from Hurts.
I told you.
Got an ad. I'll have an ad
I
blocker.
will tackle you. We'll be right back.
Good Mike. Poster. 2 defenders right there. Jordan, poster. 91. Then back, poster. Over Patrick Ewing. 92. Look at it. Right over. 93. Pass. Look at him. Jump up in the air. Pull up. Bang. 95. Bang. 96. Steal. Fake. Bucket. Now, if you still can't make up to your mind, we just did a survey not too long ago with 133 of current NBA players. And still, we have them voting Jordan as the GOAT. The man that they played with, LeBron James, throughout most of their entire careers, still, they're voting Michael Jordan as the GOAT. And LeBron also said himself, if it weren't for Dr. J or Mike, he probably would not have been a basketball player. LeBron pretty much got everything he knows from Jordan. And then here we have LeBron being mentally weak, because just a few days ago, what did you see?
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
At the end of the day, it's just basketball. After he blew a 20-point lead against the Nuggets, then he goes on to say, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball. He's mentally weak. LeBron James is mentally weak, and he is not the GOAT. Now he's had a long, great career, true. However, he's not the GOAT. He's not the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Thank you for that extremely well-researched speech, Xavier. Now I would like to pass it to our table topic master for today, Ananya.
Hello, good afternoon, Gavel Club. I've written 12 different table topics questions, so we'll just start. Question number 1, who do you think is the GOAT or the greatest of all time of life?
Oh.
And I think, I'm sorry, I don't really know most of the people that are in the school and everything. I'm just gonna go ahead and give this to Mr. Xavier.
Oh,
So you said in life or like sports overall?
In life,
Sport,
like,
in life.
yeah.
I'd say in life overall, one of the greatest people in life. That's a good one. So Michael Jordan is up there, but in life, straight just people in general, I'd probably say J. Cole. The reason I say J. Cole is not only, obviously, he's rich, but overall his entire career, I've not heard a single bad J. Cole song. His bars, his flow, everything Jermaine has done from the beginning of his career to this current point. Jermaine has been a great rapper, and I've never seen his song of his flop, not once. Now he did just take back his all or his diss track on Kendrick. I like that very much, but overall, Jermaine is still one of the greatest, if not the greatest, artist and person to me. Thank you. The question.
Thank you. That just happened to be my first question. So, question number 2. If you were given a huge canvas, an unlimited amount of paint, and as much time as you'd like, what would you paint for the world to see? And I think I'll give that question to Jenny. There we go.
What? No. What? Wait, what? What? Okay.
Sorry, Jenny, you have to go for 1 minute and then we take Owen.
Right. I
That's
got a question. Right. So if I had a huge canvas and I had to paint something, I would probably paint an Eevee because most so every time you see an Eevee, all right, all the grown-ups are like, oh, that's Pikachu. But see, Eevee is underappreciated because everyone is like, oh, Pikachu, right? The Pokemon, all the Pokemon Pikachu. But they don't know any of the other Pokemon. And I just want to remind you, there's Let's Go Pikachu, right? And Let's Go Eevee too. And no one cares about Eevee. Even though Eevee is one of the best, we just talked about like the GOAT of basketball. Eevee is like the GOAT of Pokemon because, well, I mean, there's not much of an argument as for like statistics or anything, but Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. I'm sure that counts for something. So I think that Eevee needs some more appreciation. Eevee is a very nice Pokemon and very versatile. I mean, like all those evolutions, and yeah, Eevee is a great Pokemon. I'll bring Eevee next week. I have an Eevee stuffed in, so I'll bring it. But yeah, I would paint that for the world to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. We all love Eevee. Okay, question number 3. If you could choose one book for high school students to read, then what would you choose? I'll give that to Tim.
One book that I would give high schoolers to read. That's kind of a hard one because I'm not very much of a book person. I very much do not read that many books and do not prefer to read books in high school as currently I'm reading a play by William Shakespeare, Macbeth, during our English class, and I do not understand a single thing about it. So she would give me, I might not be able to give you a title or anything as I don't know that many books, but preferably something in the genre of mystery. That'd be something I prefer, as that's pretty interesting. I feel like a lot of students would be a mystery and a thriller. That'd be getting the interest of a lot of students. But stuff like plays and old classical texts, those are kind of a pass for me. I get very bored quickly reading those books and having to do assignments on them. It's not fun. Very not great time for me. But mystery, thriller, anything like that gives you, I say, catch my attention really quickly. I'd say those are pretty good books for high schoolers. So, yeah, anything with a genre of mystery, I'd say it's a good book. Thank you.
Thank you. Solid answer. Okay, so question number 4. Would you rather have less work to do or more work, but it's something that you enjoy doing? And I'll give that to Shreya.
So I would choose to have more work. Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Sure. So it's either there's a choice between either having just less work overall to do, or you have more work, but that work is something that you enjoy doing.
I would choose to have more work, but something I enjoy doing. And this is because when I have something that I enjoy doing, I tend to have a better performance on it. So, for example, if I have to read, or sorry, if I go to art class and I have a lot of work to do, and my other option would be to do like math homework, but it would be only a little bit, I would choose the art homework because it'll be something that, since I enjoy doing it, I have a tendency to get done with it quickly. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. That was a good answer. Question number 5. If you had the chance to go back in time in your life and change something, would you do it? And that question goes to Michael.
Although I'm sure there are some regrets I've had in the past, I would actually not change anything in the past because, after all, anything that's happened to me in my childhood is what makes me the person now. If I hadn't experienced, for example, my childhood growing up in China or my time at Farmington Elementary, I would never be the person I am today. I think it is important for everyone to look back on their experiences and see exactly how each of their life, each parts of their life has contributed to their current personality. Me, for example, I'm definitely built for my experiences and I really enjoy the life I have now. So that is the reason I would not change anything in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very insightful answer. Question number 6. What is your happiest childhood memory? I'll give that to Mr. Horace.
Thank you for the question. What is my happiest childhood memory? I believe my happiest childhood memory is when I learned how to ride a bicycle without falling down. I taught myself how to ride by simply getting up a hill and holding onto the street sign and pushing, and I would have my hands out to the side, well, my legs out to the side, and was steering like this until I finally got the knack of balance. So when I learned how to balance myself, Then I had to learn next how to paddle and continue to balance myself. So my most fun childhood memory would be when I learned how to ride a bicycle. Now, since the green light just lit and we are at 4:16 in the afternoon, and if everyone will look at your agenda, you will see we are a little bit behind. So if it's all right with our table topics, Master, I would ask if she would maybe ask one more question so we can get into the evaluation session. That way we won't extend beyond our 4:30 end time. Back to you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Horace. I do understand that we are kind of running behind on schedule. I think I have time to ask like 2 short questions. So this one's for Mia. What makes a person like wise?
I think what makes a person wise is like if they have a lot of life experience. I don't know what that would be, but like if you're like really old, I think you'll be really wise. And also if you went to school, like a very high knowing school, I would think you're really smart, and I guess that's what makes you wise as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And my final question goes to one second, to Jenny. And my question is, what is the best thing about your city?
So the question is, what's the best thing about my city? And I think the coolest thing about Memphis is that it's the place of BBQ food. Well, I've never really had a lot of barbecue, but I always smell it walking through the neighborhoods while I'm riding my bike around, and it smells pretty good. And it's like a nice family atmosphere. So I'd say that's the best thing about Memphis.
Thank you. I think that kind of concludes the table topic session, so back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you for that wonderful table topic session, Alonia. I would now like to pass it to our general evaluator, Mr. Horace Taylor, to lead the evaluations.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful program we've had so far. So here at the Memphis Gavel Club, we don't lift weights like LeBron and the other gentleman there, but we lift each other up, right? So my name is Horace, and I'm the general evaluator for today. One of the main reasons we have the evaluation portion of our meeting is to lift our members up. The evaluation section is covered in 3 parts. The first part is I will introduce the evaluator to you, and that evaluator will give their evaluation of the speaker. And then we will get into the functionary roles where I will call on the grammarian, the timer, and all of that. And then I will give an overall analysis of how the meeting went. So let's begin with the first evaluator. Who is the first evaluator? So the speaker was Isaac.
Jason.
There is Mr. Jason is the first evaluator. Sir, it's all yours.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of evaluating Isaac's speech, the chronological history of the electric vehicle. I felt this way the first time you gave your speech, and I feel the same way today. You are on a path to being an excellent speaker. You keep doing what you're doing. You're very intelligent. You're very knowledgeable. You're very interesting. So keep on this path. There's bright things in your future. You definitely got what it takes, and you may be in the discussion for who's the greatest of all time in Toastmasters. I don't know. But your speech was a chronological order. We learned the history of the electric vehicle, the safety issues, and how and if they were resolved. We got a lot of information from you. We learned about the history from the early days of the 1890s to the 1990s and to today with Tesla leading the way and being innovative in so many areas. I think that your knowledge was very in depth. You have a strong understanding. I can tell it's one of your hobbies because you have a very deep understanding. You had a strong opening. Your closing was kind of subtle, kind of snuck up on me. Hold on, for the word. I would, when you watch the video as it's recorded, maybe see how that transition could be improved. I felt that you talked very quickly, and so the transitions were fast. So I would say slow it down a little bit, just because there was a lot of information to take on and to have no time to like digest it made it difficult. So I would say slow it down and then work on your body language. He was a little bit fidgety, but I think a lot of that is because you walked in straight into the situation. So it's kind of like I feel if I'm late to work, which if you're watching, I never am. But if I was, I would be, I feel like I'm behind all day long. So I think that might have played a part in that. But overall, I'd say great speech, great knowledge, just slow it down, transition between topics and allow us time to digest it. But other than that, great job. And you're on a path to being an excellent communicator. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'd like to call on our second evaluator, Rahav, who evaluated our second speaker.
So, Mr. Eric, I really liked how you use vocal variety at the start of the speech to grab our attention. Like, you changed the loudness of your voice or the tone. I also liked how you talked about goals and told us to seize the moment when we had the chance to. So I would like to, I believe that you should improve on having a bit less pauses in your speech and also try to memorize your speech more. Overall, your speech was truly wonderful and inspiring to us all. I'm looking forward to hearing your next speech. Back to the Toastmaster now.
Thank you so much. And now let's call on the third evaluator, Toastmaster Anna Zhang, who evaluated the third speaker, Xavier.
Thank you, General Evaluator Horace Taylor. I had a pleasure to evaluate Xavier Taylor's speech, Jordan versus LeBron. There are several evaluation questions, so I will go through them. The first is, how did the topic apply to the audience? So I guess I missed the first two sentences, and I was just putting in the question, who is better? To me, even though I really enjoy the basketball games and I enjoy these two players, but it's not really in my interest to argue who is the best. So I sit here, I'm just wondering, hey, why would I want to hear this? So to make it better, I think Xavier, my suggestion is ask a question to put the people in the position to think about what you want to say. Think about what you want to present to them instead of just come in and present to them. So that's the first question. Second is the topic well researched. The topic is very well researched. Xavier, you did a wonderful job on the research. I like the stats, the numbers, the pictures, the photos, and the YouTube videos. You apparently spend a lot of time to collect all this data to prove your points. So that is very impressive. Now, speaking about where you can improve, I noticed that in the end, you compare these two players. To me, they are all great players. And I would not recommend bashing one just to prove your point. I would really at the end to show, let's all together enjoy the two goats in this game. Right? Enjoy both of their games because hey, all the hard work they put in, no matter what they people rank them, no matter what other think they are the number one or number two, the point is they put in the hard work, they bring us the best of themselves, and that's applaudable. So I would recommend you raise your speech into a higher value by appreciating both of them instead of comparing one to another. What did I like about your speech? Your voice. You have a very good speaker voice, deep and just resonating. So you always do. So keep using that good voice in all your future speeches. I really enjoyed your speech, and I learned a lot about Jordan and LeBron. Thank you very much.
That wonderful evaluation. Now may I call on the timers report?
Thank you. So to start off my timers report, I'll start with the individual speeches. So first off, we had Isaac, and you had a time of 6 minutes and 36 seconds. For the next speech, we had Mr. Eric. You had a time of 5 minutes and 47 seconds. And lastly, for the speeches, we had Xavier with a time of 13 minutes and 50 seconds. So moving on to the table topics. First off, we had Xavier with a time of 1 minute 15. Next, we had Owen with a time of 1 minute 17. And then it was me. I believe I had a time of 1 minute 21, but I may or may not be a bit off of that. Next, we had Shreya with a time of 1 minute and 24. Michael with a time of 50 seconds. Next, we had Mr. Horse with a time of 1 minute 30 seconds. And next was Mia with a time of 28 seconds. And lastly, Jenny with a time of 32 seconds. So, and the last part of my evaluation is my last part of my timers report is the evaluations. So first off, we had Mr. Jason. Your evaluation time came at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Next, we had Raghav with a time of 56 seconds. And lastly, we had Miss Anna with a time of 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And that concludes my timers report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. And now let's have the grammarians report.
First, we had Isaac with 2 I's, 1 so, and did not use the word of the day. Eric had no filler words.
Compensate.
Xavier also had no filler words. Owen had 3 arms, 1 leg. Tim had no filler words. Ria had 2 arms, 2 O's. Michael had no filler words. Forrest had no filler words. Mia had 4 so. Jenny had no filler words. One had 1 2 like. Evaluator 2 had no filler words. Evaluator 3 had 1
Thank you so much, Madam Grammarian. And now my short, very short, concise, I will try not to compensate too much for the clock, but when I do a general evaluation, I look for the positive and fun aspect of our meeting. And to our first speaker, you nailed it. You added a bit of humor in your speech, and I think it was something to the effect that grown folk are concerned with gas versus electric cars because grown folk tend to be full of gas, right? And that was the joke that you were levying with that. So I like that humor that you weaved into your program. I think this was an excellent meeting, a totally excellent meeting to wrap up our near end